What's up guys, it's your boy Omazaru, and today we'll be talking about a manga slash anime that I and a lot of people thought would be a part of the new big three or would be something that could rival the big three, but it never actually lived up to its potential, and that is Katekyo Hitman Reborn. So let's get into the video. Hitman Reborn follows the life and adventures of Sawada Tsunayashi, a good-for-nothing high school student whose poor grades, lack of physique and wimpy attitude earned him the nickname No Good Suna. His life is changed when he is assigned a new home tutor, the infant Hitman Reborn. His mission is to raise Suna from a failing dropout to be the next successor of the greatest mafia family, Vongola. Under Reborn's strict guidance, Suna must gather new members to be part of the family who would act as his guardians in order to support him in his path to becoming the next Vongola boss. Also, when the situation calls for it, Reborn can shoot Suna with a magical bullet called the Dying Will Bullet, which allows him to achieve superhuman feats and later on become Suna's main source of power. The story is pretty straightforward. You have your main character that is weak and wimpy person because they want him to be relatable. The guy gathers his friends and they train in order to fight groups of people that stand in their way. The cycle of training and then fighting your counterparts one-on-one occurs several times. This is Shonen Jump at its core. The power system is that they are able to fight using different elemental flames that are amplified through the wearing of rings or pacifiers. The affinity is based on their personality, and most groups have 7 characters because there are 7 different flames. The unique thing about this is the mafia aspects of things, as a lot of people are fascinated by mafia, so the concept was good. The first arc, called Daily Life arc, was a fun introduction to the series, but it became a drag. The arc had a very specific kind of humor that was hit or miss, and we were introduced to the characters that would be helping Suna through his journey, like Hayato Kokudera, Takashi Yamamoto, Rohei Sasagawa, Kyoya Hibari, and one of my favorite characters, Lambo. The next arc is where it becomes more action as we're introduced to Rokudo Mokoro. All fights were short, which ends up being a trend, and the fight between Suna and Mokoro was one of my favorite fights in the series, as we see Suna gain a new ability and also a little bit of character development. After that, we got one of my favorite shonen arcs ever, and that is the Varia arc. This arc was packed with lots of good fights and with top tier villains. Ever since the beginning of the arc, with the build up, recruiting, the fight gimmicks, the mystery behind Chrome or Dokoro, smart use of weapons like Yamamoto's shonen style and Kokudero's bombs, seeing Lambo's 20-year future self, and Hibari's one-shot KO against Masuka at the climax had me going nuts. I think this is where Reborn excels in what he's trying to do, how the character's will, pride, and strategy can overcome experience and bloodlust. Even Suna unlocking the ninth will and freezing Sansa's shows resolve. It isn't just a power up, it is a message about his will and determination. But here's where everything goes downhill in the future arc. The first reason is because of the weapon boxes. Little by little, characters change how they fight and how the battles are handled. They all feel very similar in the formula: open box, clash box, box evolves, and conclusion. Battles weren't very fun, and most of the times the battle fight wasn't important. The second reason was the length. It overstayed its welcome for way too long. The way this arc was set up wasn't very clear, and Byakuran's motivations was very vague. The whole plot with Yuna wasn't very clear, and there's some information that goes against what we learn in the future chapters. The choice fight and subsequent fight with Byakuran felt boring. Everyone likes a good gimmick here and there, but unlike the Variat fight, here it felt like a hindrance, and the fight itself wasn't very different from other box fights. It was short. Byakuran's real ability did no different, and it felt rushed, which is good, but by the end not a lot of information is delivered and everyone goes back to the past. Also, when they came back from the future, they had to throw in another "I don't want to be the boss" gag, which pissed me off. The beginning of the next arc, the Simon arc, felt like a breath of fresh air. The Simon family are all likable characters, the gag setup was very good and the idea was very interesting. The entire arc felt like a redemption arc for Suna and how we learned nothing during the last arc. Here we see how the first Vongola and Shimon were friends and how they tried to do good and why Suna carries his exact will. The inheritance ceremony clash was amazing and the motivations were very relatable. It was fun how every Vongola had a friend in their opponent, and the wing weapon battles were way better than the box battles. The reveal of Spade as the main villain felt wonderful for the tone of the arc, which was the bad influence of the Vongola fighting with the essence of the good in the family. Suna embodied the will to do good for the people, while Spade represented corruption and power inside the mafia. It was so good to finally see these clashes of ideals, and the fight being all about illusions was one of the most entertaining things in the manga. By the end, the powers of Simon and Vongola overpowered the loss of power, and Suna has finally learned how he can do good as a boss. But no, here comes "I don't want to be the boss" gag again, making everything that happened in this arc meaningless, which makes it feel like you're reading 2 different series at the same time. The last arc in the series, called Representative arc, was rushed as the series was most likely getting cancelled, so Amano had to put as much information as they could in this arc and get as much fan service as well. The idea of the arc was good, and the tournament part of it was also good, as it showed every character in the series again for the final farewell, while also revealing most mysteries that was left behind. The interaction between all the teams were the highlight of this arc, and the fights felt special. One of the things I liked most was that no character received a major power up. The uncursed Arcabelenos, past villains fighting, characters for different arcs, witty banters, and that final dying will bullet made an enjoyable fanservice final arc. The main antagonist, Bermuda, was very likable even if his stay was short, and his motivation made total sense. He wants to like Byakuran or Spade who just wanted power. His revenge was completely justified, and his redemption arc, while quick, made complete sense. One of the favourite parts of this arc was when Suna, without Reborn, had to come up with a plan to face Bermuda, which ended up working. Even Yamamoto finally acknowledges Suna as a boss, saying he's finally someone to follow. But of course, they had to ruin that part again with the usual gag, and I think this is the worst one yet. Suna by now knows that the Mafia can help people. He knows his family respects him, he knows his friends want him to be the boss, but still doesn't want to become the boss. In conclusion, Reborn is still a very fun manga, but the writing isn't as good as other shonen. Suna's role as the protagonist is infuriating, and it could have been solved with the mere sign of a resolution in his day-to-day life, but when every single growth is shown is in battle, it makes you question his character. The best part of Reborn lies in the secondary characters. The entire Von Gala family, Lambo's antics, Crocodile's and Yamamoto's rivalry, Mokuro's tricks and treacheries, Hibari's unpredictability, and a cast of friends and enemies. Now tell me what you guys think. What did you think of Hitman Reborn, and did he live up to his potential? Like, comment and subscribe, and also follow me on Twitter at omuzaru_red. See you guys on the next one.